Okay. Hopefully, hopefully it will get better. We'll see. Let me know, put something in the chat or put your hand up like you're doing a stop sign or something. But I'm gonna go ahead and try and live stream us anyway, so that we have this link. And we are live streaming now. So I'm gonna close that. All right, so we are now live streaming on YouTube. This is so that you can go back and revisit the classes, or you can share this link with folks. Make sure that you follow the Joy channel, subscribe to the Joy channel. And also, it's private, so
staticky
on YouTube and look at the class. Okay. The best I can. If I can hear something, I'll repeat it. That's the best I can do, because apparently I don't. I'm literally looking at the modem right there.
Betsy,
I mean, it's right there.
Betsy, we can't hear you.
One of the
it's all static.
Sound like an alien.
All static. Great. Okay. Let's see. Let me try this. Okay, is this any better?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
So my solution was to make the audio come from my phone. And I've muted myself. So tell me if you've got audio feedback.
Yeah, a little. Just a little. Just a little.
Okay. Just a little bit though? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's better, less static?
Much better. Yeah.
Okay. There's also a bit of a delay. I'm still hearing myself here. Yeah.
Yes, there is an echo.
Okay. All right. This is probably as good as it's going to get. Can we deal with this?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do, turn this part off. Just want you to hear me. All right. So today our main topic. No, I got a solution. Hang on. I'm going to stop the audio on this one. Give me just a minute. It's always so much fun when we're in a new location. Always so much fun when we're in a new location. So, all right. Is Maria still in the room?
Yes, she's right here.
Okay, good. Maria?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna have to not be host for a minute so that I can leave.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give host back to you. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna come back without audio.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well, usually, right here, it says Betsy's host. There, she left.
Okay, now I'm gonna leave. I'll be right back, folks.
Okay. You want me to make you host again?
Yeah, but not yet. Not that one. Hang on. Hang on.
People in this.
Yeah, and she'll have quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of them aren't even in state, they're not state.
Oh, wow.
Terry's in New York. We have some from Canada. There's snowbirds, and when they leave, they just do
That's
the
great.
listen.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, that's better, isn't it? Ooh, that's. Oh, it didn't stop it. Stop it. All right, is this any better, folks?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's getting
Thank you.
feedback.
It says I have an unstable bandwidth is the problem. So Joyce, I can see your video. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I love that today we're talking about speed. So right here, let's see if we can, oh, that's not gonna work. Yeah. Switch the camera. Well, I was gonna turn this around and show you, but I'm not. That the modem is right here. One of the things to fix speed, which I wish I could right now, but I'm not in my own house. Quick, easy, fast fixes that don't cost anything is number one, your proximity to the router. The closer you can get to a router, the faster your speed is going to be. If you are in a concrete building, like many Keys houses are, then you're going to have a lot more difficulty getting your speed because you've got a lot of things in the way of the signal. So annoying to hear me twice. Let me make this.
Better than it was earlier.
Yes.
Okay.
And not all the time.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Sadly, because of the bandwidth, I can't see everybody. Literally, the only person's video I see right now is Joyce. But okay.
Smile, Joyce.
And she's kind of frozen. So if you have a question or want to say something, either put it in the chat or go to your reactions and put your hand up and let me know, because that's the only visual cue I'm going to get that what I'm saying doesn't make sense. Oh, and I can't see you there. Okay, I can see you on my phone, so that's better. So next to proximity, the next thing that is, and as far as proximity, a couple of things. So if you have your router in a cabinet, like you've got an entertainment center and you've got, you know, the nuts and bolts of stuff behind doors, as many of us do, that's not good for the router. Not going to hurt the hardware part of it, but it is certainly going to slow down the speed. Seems silly, it's just wood and it's a signal, but it will. So they recommend that you pull that piece out of the cabinet, put it somewhere else. The recommendation is in the center of the house, if you're trying to access the internet from all over the house. If there are parts of the house, like let's say your bedroom is at one end and your entertainment center and living room and kitchen are all at the other end, then I wouldn't worry about it at the bedroom, because maybe you should just let that be your sleep space anyway, as is highly recommended. But you could, by having it in the center of where your living room is and where the space is that you need to use the internet, good morning, Carol, then that's going to give you a better signal. They also say, put it up high. If it's down low, which is where mine is at the house, down low doesn't work as good. Up high is going to give it more of a, I guess the particular waves that apply to Wi-Fi are more of a down and out rather than an up kind of wave. So if you have it up high, it also might be less conspicuous, you know, if you've got an area of the house where your modem can be. And of course, they said in the center of the house. So those are some things that can automatically speed up what you've got in terms of your Wi-Fi and your internet. And this would apply for when you are traveling. So if you're somewhere and you're in somebody else's house, as I am, then you do the best you can. Obviously, you're not going to, you know, change what all they've got going on, but you can change your location to things. That's why I'm sitting next to the modem here, for better or for worse. The next thing that you can do for your own, not your friends, family, or neighbors, what you can do is you can make sure that your system is updated. So newer routers and modems have an automatic update, and you shouldn't have to worry about that. However, even with our phones, when we have them on automatic update, that doesn't always seem to update as automatically as we would like. So if you go into your router administration page, so you're gonna update what's called the firmware. You go to your router admin page by going to your system settings, and this would be from whatever it is that you can control the house with. If you have, okay, Carol, if you have computer at your house, and that's where you can get to your system settings. So we're going to look here. Well, this isn't going to show up because this system isn't here. Next week, really briefly, we'll look when I'm at my house, and I can show you because my computer will be connected to my Wi-Fi network there. Here, I'm not going to be able to change somebody's system settings because I'm not logged in to their system. But what you would do is go to system settings and then go to advanced or system tools, either one, depending on what the system is. We'll call it either advanced settings or system tools. And then you would go in and you would make sure that you got any updates. If you don't know where all that is, the next choice is just to do a search, do an internet search for it, and you're going to put in the model number of your modem, and that'll be right on the side of your modem. Put in that model number and look up the manual for that modem, and then that will tell you exactly whether or not you would need to, or whether or not it's automatic. Now, many of us get our modems from our Wi-Fi provider, right? We have Xfinity, and which is what I'm looking at right here. They provide us with that. They're not going to call you and go, oh, by the way, Medina, you haven't had a new modem in 10 years. Would you like another one? They're not going to do that. That's kind of on you. They're going to wait and have you notice that you've got slow service, and then you call them up and you can say, hey,
Right.
I think that I've had this modem, whenever. Get another one from them. What's even better, what we have found is that because those are, I believe, it's been a while, but I believe those are more of a lease kind of thing. You're literally paying a little bit each month for that piece of equipment. It's kind of built into your fees. So long time ago, well, not that long, I can remember which house we were in. We bought our own modem. And then when we moved into the new house, so our modem is literally 2 years old. We bought a modem. You can get them at Best Buy, Home Depot. You can get them, all over the place. Walmart. Get a new modem. Get one that's going to suit your needs better and be faster, because it's going to have the automatic updates. It's going to have the latest hardware that you need to actually be fast. They run between, let's see, I was looking up some prices today. New ones run between $150 and $250. If that's too much, then just call your internet provider company and say, I want a new one. And they just charge you piece by piece over time. They spread it out over your bill. Does anybody have any questions about that part so far?
Yes. Is a modem and a router the same thing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question. I use them interchangeably. Yeah. The other thing that you want to think about is if you've got a space where, let's say, you have a lovely outdoor space and you like in the Keys in the winter, sitting outside in this outdoor space versus, yeah, not in the summer. And you know, just want to kind of hang out, whether it's you're going to be, you know, watching a show, you're doing some streaming on your computer or your tablet or whatever. Then you can get a repeater. The repeaters and or extender, as they're also known, run between $30 to $60. And that's literally a plug-in. It's just a little box, and you plug it into the wall, and it's got antennas, generally 2 little antennas, and you connect those up with your router or modem, and that's going to extend because your router is going to go from point A to the repeater and then out to where you are. So we have one in our carport, and we can literally go all the way down to the end of the mailbox, which is pretty far away. And I can do most of my gardening and still have my Wi-Fi. The reason for that, where we live, I don't have regular telephone service and I don't have cell service. We have Wi-Fi calling. And so I can still get a phone call when I'm out in the garden. Maybe that's not such a good thing, but it's a thing. I should probably just be listening to the birds at that point. But anyway, so that's something that will also help you with a better signal.
Yeah, I'm in a concrete home, and my router is downstairs in my husband's man cave, which I don't want to go into. Anyway, so I had a weak signal, so they gave me an extender.
Nice.
And it works very well.
Nice. That's really nice. They just gave it to you.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I didn't see my bill go up, but maybe it did.
Yeah, maybe they did. I don't know.
Maybe they did.
So when we get talking about the parts that cost, the other thing, this one was really cool. So when I'm on a different device today, I'm on my Chromebook. And so I wanted to test it out before I left home and make sure that everything was going to work, and it's a little bit different with a Chromebook, as Carlene knows, than it is with a regular laptop. But with the Chromebook, sorry. Oh, yes, I do, Maria. I'm so sorry. Would you make me host? I don't know if she heard me. She did. Because I'm going to be sharing in a minute. And I was just going to say that sharing with a Chromebook is a little bit different. It's organized differently. And so I wanted to make sure it worked. So I've got Scott in one room and me in another room, and we're testing out Zoom, and it was really bad. And we had great connection everywhere. It showed we had a strong signal strength. And he said, I'm going to go turn off the router and turn it back on. Oh, look, Leanne is here. I'm sleepy rapid. Hi, Leanne. And so I'm sorry, my signal is really poor today, Leanne, but we're muddling through. So Scott said, well, we've got 26 things connected. And I said, what? I said, your iPad, my laptop, your laptop, our 2 phones. Why would we have 26 things connected? And that was fascinating to me because, okay, the fridge is connected. I don't think the stove is, but if you have smart appliances and they're connected to your Wi-Fi, you know, if you have an app that tells you your refrigerator door is open or the temperature is wrong or something like that, any of our smart appliances are also stealing from the bandwidth for our modems. So if you're having a slow connection, one of the things that the experts recommend is that go around your house and make sure that things that you no longer use are no longer connected. So obviously we're using our fridge, but things like game consoles, any kind of tablet or device, old smartphones, which I can't imagine that you'd still even have it on, but whatever. One of the choices you might want to do is to make sure that those are off Wi-Fi. Besides turning them off, but turn off the Wi-Fi on the setting on that device. Because what's happening with a modem is it is sending out signals to all of the pieces that need that signal. And it's a constantly very rapid fire throwing out this signal. And so the things that actually can receive the signal are then grabbing that and taking away from what you actually need the signal for. And I knew this, but it wasn't something that I had thought about before. So definitely go around. If you have old, I don't know, security cameras that you're not using, anything that consoles, you might have an old computer that has, you know, it's still connected to the Wi-Fi. Like I said, even if they're turned off or in sleep mode or just sitting, make sure that the Wi-Fi part of all of those devices that you're not using is turned off. That will help speed things up.
Wow. You're muted, Betsy. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
You know? Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Let me get back to this and see.
We
So-
hear you now.
You hear me now, okay. And it's that bandwidth. So as I was saying, oftentimes when I'm visiting somebody, I'll ask them to please turn off. You can't hear me, Linda?
Yes, yes, we
I can
can.
hear you. I wanted to say something when you stopped talking.
Thank you. What I will do is I'll ask them to turn off their music. If they are listening to any kind of streaming service with music, if they're watching a movie, I'll ask them during this class, would you not do that? I just need an hour where you're not taking the extra bandwidth. And so that's helpful to not have something big like streaming a movie, even, you know, playing an internet-based game. Any of those things are going to take away from the bandwidth. So if you have a meeting and you need more bandwidth, then turning some of those things off are good. Linda.
I just wanted to add to what you're saying. If you all don't understand about refrigerators, I have a refrigerator that's actually 12 years old. I didn't think it was very modern, but when I had it repaired last month, it was the motherboard. They replaced the motherboard on my refrigerator. Really
Wow.
something.
Huh.
The entire thing had just died, and that's what he said it was, and that's what worked.
So when the refrigerator like stopped being cold?
It stopped working altogether. The motor went off. It was dead in the water. And that's what the repairman said. It was the motherboard. That's what he replaced. And that's what got it working.
Wow.
Yeah, but the motherboard, from what I
The
understand,
motherboard is a computer.
it's a computer. It's not connected to your Wi-Fi, unless I'm mistaken.
Well, I'm not talking about Wi-Fi and computers all the same to me. So
Oh, okay.
Okay, so to clarify, and that's a good point on both of your parts. So yes, a motherboard is the hardware of a computer, and I think my surprise as well is that an older refrigerator would have a computer. I mean, if we think back and we know anything about
Doesn't
mechanical
have
things,
it. It is a computer. It actually
It is
is
the
a computer. Yeah.
it is the computer. So, and it doesn't have to be
Well, if
connected
it's
to
someone
Wi-Fi.
running on a motherboard, it's a computer.
That's what makes it run, right? And it doesn't have to be connected to Wi-Fi, but it certainly could be connected to Wi-Fi. So, kind of both, neither and both, Medina. So it doesn't. Hers could be probably quite easily adapted to have, Wi-Fi capabilities without a lot of trouble. Particularly, I mean, replacing the motherboard, if they replace it with a very modern one, it would be probably easily connected. But good point, Linda. Thank you. All right. Any other questions, comments about speeding up Wi-Fi? I've got two more things. They cost. Everything so far we've talked about are free. Good. Joyce.
If I put in an extender, so that I can see, I watch stuff on my front porch. Would the extender be closer to the router or closer to where I'm wanted to extend to?
You want to divide the difference. So from your porch to the router, put the extender about in the middle.
And should I try to put it in a higher plug or a lower plug, or it doesn't matter?
I would say based on what I learned about height, I would say higher, but how many plugs do we have up high? Most
Well,
are
the
so
one
low.
near the toaster oven, for instance, is a little bit, above the counter.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah, that might be better.
yeah. Okay.
Good. Try it out too. You can do a little experiment and let us know. And we find them very helpful. All right, the next, and that piece just does cost. The extenders do cost, like I said, between $30 and $60 is an average cost. The next thing that you can do is you can also up your subscription. If you're really frustrated with your service, up your subscription. Ask them for, what I would do is ask them if they have any deals on speeding it up. And I would really complain about it first, because if you say, I just want to buy more, they will happily just make you buy more. But if you say, this service is not doing well and what can you do to fix it? Then put it in their lap in terms of how they can make it better for you. And then they may say, well, we just have, a more expensive subscription. And you can say, okay, well, what kind of deals are you doing on this? Because I've been a loyal customer or whatever. And see what kind of negotiation you can do to get a faster internet package. That would definitely help. And generally speaking, they're not that much more money for a lot more speed. And then the other thing you can do is you can hardwire your device to your modem. So there's an Ethernet cable. It looks like the old kind of, I'm looking at the wires here and I'm not sure if I can take that down and show you without hurting something. Probably not. But it looks like those old kind of the phone cables that had the little clip, except it's fatter and chunkier. The phone cable, the old hardwired landline phone cable are a little bit thinner. This one is more of a block, like a square block and a good bit bigger. You can take that and put it into your computer. Now you say, oh, well, my computer doesn't have one of those portals for that. But your computer may have, if you have trying to look and see where the tower is for this one. I think they've gotten rid of the tower on this. Anyway, in a tower desktop computer, there is almost always a portal for the Ethernet cable. It just looks like a little square opening. Joyce, there we go. And I was going to say, thank you very much. You can get an adapter. You can get a piece like what Joyce is holding, and that can accommodate, and there are many different kinds of adapters that will have portals. And I love those, Joyce. Those are so handy. Where did you get that?
On the internet.
Okay. But those are
I
great.
mean, I live
because-
in the Keys. Where else am I gonna get it?
Yeah.
That's fine.
No more Office Depot, right?
I know. So sad. No Kmart, no Office Depot. No Radio Shack. Gosh, you're living in a desert. So getting something like that that's an adapter is also a very handy thing. So that if you want to, you can hardwire. Now that doesn't mean that, you know, you can go to Wi-Fi. So let's say if I took this little Chromebook that I have and I connected it to hardwire, and that's probably what I'm going to see if I can do next time I go somewhere. I'm going to get an adapter that travels with me so that I can hardwire to the modem, which is going to make my connections much better. You guys are very patient with this. Just plug it in, and that way you are going to be getting the signal right there, right? Exactly from the source. That's going to make it significantly better. Medina.
I just want to throw out a little tip. When you said about, calling them and asking if they have any promotions. That works very well with newspaper subscriptions. I have about 4 or 5 newspaper subscriptions. And I noticed that I think it was the New York Times, was going up to $17 a month. And I called them and I said, and this is what they love to hear. I really support free journalism. It's very important to me. So are you offering any promos? And now I'm getting it for $4 a month.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Okay, just a tip, that'll last for a year and then it'll go back to $17.
Yes, and now I called them and she said, I'll give you the same promotion you had last time.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, and I
Thank
do that
you.
I do that with all of my newspaper subscriptions because they're expensive.
They are expensive. They are. And so are you talking about, do you get the digital or do you get the paper?
Digital.
Digital. Okay,
I
good to
don't know
know.
I don't really know about paper subscriptions, no, because mine are all digital.
I'll be making some phone calls after this class. Tip of the day. I love it.
Yeah, Washington Post. Let's see. Well, I have several Israeli newspaper subscriptions. They're
Wow.
not great. They don't seem to be as generous, but that's okay.
Okay, Leanne says, whoops. Oh, I didn't disable share. When I've tried hardwiring, I find I need to adjust the settings provided to turn Wi-Fi off when using the Ethernet cord. So good point, Leanne. That's excellent. That when you are hardwiring, it's a whole different configuration. So make sure that you go into your settings and let it know that you are hardwiring it versus Wi-Fi. Good point. And then everybody disappeared. My streaming must have gotten really bad again. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. All right. So last, that's pretty much it. The last thing is if all else fails and you've got a really old router, get a new one. And if you want to continue going with their provided one, just let them know. We've done that as well. Said, look, when we were in the Keys and we were at various different houses, and this was just 5 years that we bounced from house to house with the company's router. And so we just called them up and said, look, this is not working anymore. We need a new one. And they've just provided us with a new one. And so a new one is going to have newer features, newer capabilities, and faster speeds. All right, I am going to share my screen and hopefully let me just pull this one up. And we've done this before. So, okay. Let's get back to Zoom. I'm sorry, it's so funny. It's so different on this Chromebook. All right, so we're going to try and share, and we'll see how the share works. Oh, host disabled attendee screen sharing. I must not be host.
Your host. Says you are here.
Oh, I know why. I will bet. I'll bet you made me host here. I think I'm host on the computer. Maria, am I host with the one that's me holding the dog?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. As host on that one, which is my phone, I think I have changed that. Let's see. All right, let's go to share. All right. Darn. On my phone, it doesn't appear. Let's see, maybe I can do it from here. Sorry, I know how much fun it is to watch me talk to myself. All right, I've got to make the other Betsy host. Make host. Yes, okay. All right, now I can share. I'm like, what do you mean the host?
I think it's good that to find out that even you have to problem solve a lot as we go along. So like there's always problems, even for people that are really good at computers. And sometimes you just have to get creative and solve it.
I do too. I do too. I that's why I love technology so much. Because there's always something to solve. All right, so speed test. All I did was do a search for speed test and this said speed test Google. I'm going to take out the Google part and I'm just going to do speed test.
Betsy,
And-
I'm not seeing the screen.
Oh no. Okay, let me go back. Thank you.
It popped up and then went away.
Yeah.
Oh, it says I am no longer in Zoom. See, I opened up one more tab and it bounced me out.
Well, we hear you.
Yep.
I have two windows. I have two windows for
joining.
you.
Yeah.
I'm joining. Yeah, one is all right, let's start the video but not the audio and see if that works.
The box
It says
with
I'm
your,
host, so I should be able.
but the box with your
Yeah,
name.
the box
says-
with the dog is
No. The
that's
other
on my
box,
phone.
no, the other box says connecting to audio.
Okay, I'm not going to connect to audio with that one because I think it's going to improve our audio if I don't.
Okay.
So that's going to keep just spinning around.
Okay.
All right, and it's definitely better sound for me. How's the sound for y'all?
Good.
Yes. Perfect.
Fine.
It says, okay, now I should be able to enable video. Okay, I'm back. So much fun. Now we will share screen again. That was a fun little test there. All right, so we're going to go back to speed test, Google search, and this is something that you can do on anything you are. So I've always liked this one, Speed Test by Ookla. And it's just speedtest.net. And I will send this link to everybody, but there's lots of different speed tests. So what this is going to do, hopefully, it's not happening right now. That's how slow it is. All right. Can you see this screen where it says go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All I'm going to do is click it. And it's going to tell me where I am. So it tells me what system I'm on, and that's Xfinity. And I'm going to go ahead and allow my location on this one. And 15, so it's under 20 megabytes per second. That's what, if you look underneath this number. Oh, and see how variable it is. So this is the download speed. You can see that little arrow, it was doing download. Now it's doing upload speed. So its average download speed is 7.15 megabytes per second. Now it's going to look for upload speed. Hopefully it's going to look for upload speed. Going to go pretty slow. Oh, it had 0. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Well, I will tell you that the change server. How does the customer service of Xfinity compare with your expectations? Oh, that's interesting. That gives you a little opportunity right here to rate Xfinity. And I'm betting that there's not a big package here in terms of speed. So let me stop the share. So that gives you a really good example of, you're not looking at my screen now, right? Stop.
I'm just looking at you, the picture of
Okay.
you and the dog.
Okay, you can't see me with the white background?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can.
Okay. So, and it depends on if you're on a phone or a tablet or something, because we've got quite a few people in the screen here. So that would explain why the bandwidth is so low here. 7 download is pretty low. And why at home I have a pretty good connection, because generally that's in the 100 range. So huge difference between the two. So check your speed. And that's one thing that you can know. Is it coming from the source? Where is the problem if it's super low? And I kind of knew that was going to be it anyway, so no big surprises there. All right, any questions about any of that? Okay, I am going to share screen again in a minute, but I emailed, if you got the email last week, I emailed an attachment that was the tech terms. Did anybody look at it? Did anybody? Okay. Joyce said, no, it looked like homework to me. I got better things to do.
I looked at it because I was curious too.
Okay. So oftentimes when we're talking about, space and speed and all of that, it's useful to know at least how big something is and how much space something is taking up. After I emailed that to you, I went in and I updated the document, because I thought, I want to know a little bit more. I want to know relevance to my life, because it's one thing to talk about gigabytes, bytes, kilobytes, terabytes, all of these kinds of things. And they're sort of like, ooh, they're, as vague as the cloud once was. But what does it really mean? So I changed the document. I'm going to go back to shared screen and go to tech savvy definitions. All right, can you see the definitions document?
Not yet. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And so this was what I sent, and I did it in an ABC mode. It was A through Z of tech savvy definitions. And this included some shortcuts. So for instance, we were talking, I think, Medina, you were asking questions about shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts.
Yes.
So when I'm doing a document and I want to change the font on everything, I want to select everything. I don't want to put my cursor at the beginning and scroll all the way down. If I just hit on a PC, I'm going to hit Control A, and that's just going to select everything in the document or on the web page, whatever it is I'm looking at. Control A is going to select it all. Then I can change it all globally rather than having to do piecemeal if I need that. When I do things like, copying and pasting, I always do Control. Rarely do I use my mouse. So if I do this, if I hold it down and I move my mouse, I can do this and copy. I can go find the little button to copy, or I can just hit Control C, and that's going to copy it, put it to my clipboard. And when I go somewhere else with my cursor, I can paste it. So that's what those keyboard shortcuts are. We can save things by doing a Control S. So those are all PC related. For Apple, and I'm not sure if I did this in here or not, there is another whole document for Apple. If folks would like that, I can send you that as well.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought my Apple-y people might. So I'll do the Apple keyboard shortcuts because it's just one different. The letter, I believe, is the same. So whether it's a Control A, a Control C, those kinds of things, I think it's just which that I'm not holding Control. I think on an Apple keyboard, it's another button.
It's Command, Command.
Thank you. So I will send the whole chart for the Apple document instead. But the other thing I wanted to do was show you, I don't think I gave you this question. Here's my.
Whoa.
So this was interesting to me, in terms of, you know, what exactly does this mean? And so if can I make this bigger? No, it's a photo. So I will resend this if you'd like these pieces as well. So this shows you exactly what we're talking about. So a bit is the smallest piece of data possible, and that is either a 1 or a 0. A byte consists of 8 bits, combinations of 1s and 0s. And that's all computer code is 1s and 0s, 1s and 0s. And the infinite way that 1s and 0s can be combined, mind-blowing here, gives us what we're looking at our computer screens. I mean, it's way beyond my capacity to imagine. It's kind of like imagining how many stars are in the universe.
Yeah.
My brain can't go there. I also can't go as tiny as this, is to understand that all these 1s and 0s make up everything that I see on a computer.
I would love to meet the geek that created this.
Right? I know. It's just mind-blowing. What I like about this little chart here is, so mostly we talk about gigabytes. Terabytes is somewhat new in terms of a term, but look at all the ones that are bigger than terabyte. You've got petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte, and brontobyte. That's like dinosaur bronto, which is kind of, you know, geeks always have a good sense of humor. And so it kind of took us back to the dinosaur age and call it a brontobyte. But that's a lot of data and a lot of information. And to know that we have now devices that can hold that kind of information, that's as mind-boggling as the stars are to me. To simplify it, now we look at this, and this is the amount of text an average print page is a kilobyte. So one page, like an 8.5 by 11 printed page, is about 1 kilobyte. That's useful information when you're thinking about what kind of storage is something taking up. A novel is a megabyte. Still a very small amount. You know, when you look at the storage on our computers and our devices, how much is being taken up by text, how much is being taken up by photos, how can we make things go faster and smoother by clearing up some space? And you can see, all right, a gigabyte, a pickup truck filled with books. How fun is that? You know, all words ever spoken by human beings, 5 exabytes. Again, going back to the stars, I can't even comprehend what that means. You know, that's just like a huge amount. How about information contained in all U.S. academic research libraries?
Amazing.
Wow, that's truly amazing. So that certainly gives you an idea. You know, if we go back to something simple like a downloadable MP3 music file, can be between 2 megabytes and 5 megabytes. So, Medina, was it you asking about podcasts last week? How much space did that take? I think it was Medina. All right, so stop the share. So, you know, if we consider how much space is being taken up by little things like that, then we see ways that we can definitely do some digital housekeeping, clean up stuff, which is going to make stuff just run much smoother and much faster. So that kind of segues into our housekeeping. I met with a friend up here this week, and
Betsy, I still have your picture with your puppy. I don't have you on the screen.
Are you on a phone?
No, I'm on my iPad.
Okay. I stopped the screen. Can anybody else see me?
Yes, we see you.
That both.
Oh, okay. Now I see Amy, so it must be back. Okay.
Okay. Funny bandwidth, you know. what was I saying? Oh, my friend I was saying, well, did you not get my email? And she gave me one of those eye rolls, and we were sitting in front of her computer, and I said, well, let's take a look. And so, first of all, across the top of her screen, she had, no joke, at least 25 tabs open.
I need to figure out how to get.
I'm trying not to be judgy here, but why do you have 25 tabs open? Well, because I need to be able to find stuff. Okay, so you just leave it open? Yeah. So there's a better way. I said, okay, so you can bookmark these things. You can create a whole system. And she said, well, I have ADD, and so I get distracted, and so I need to leave these things open so I can find them. And I said, well, if you have ADD, then having a system in place is a really great way
Right.
to free your mind, because and I said, look, my dad died of dementia. I have many, many friends who have ADHD. I'm dyslexic. Having systems in place that help us navigate all of the information that comes across our boards and our bandwidth is such a useful thing. Systems free us up to enjoy life so that we don't have to worry about, where's that website I was looking for? I want to get back to that. So you bookmark it, and you put it, if she's really interested in the housing crisis. And so I said, so you create a folder of bookmarks that is just about tiny houses. And you create one that's just about things that are working in other places, solutions to the housing crisis. And then when you find something, a website, an organization, an article, then you take it and you put it in there, and then you close that tab. That you don't have to look. I mean, the icons were so tiny. I don't know how. Anyway, it's like, well, I can't read that. They're minuscule. And very reluctantly, it was really a challenge for her to allow me to close a page, a tab that she had open. She was like, I don't think I'll find it again. And so the ones that she was really hot on, I put in her bookmark bar. And of course, you can change that bar all the time. You can rearrange it. The things that are important now, like I'll look right now and I will tell you, that I haven't looked at this bookmark bar in a while. The number 1 tab is Zoom. The number 2 tab is Florida sales tax, because I used to have to report the Florida sales tax for the Joy Group. And so I think I don't need that tab in my bookmark bar anymore. I'm not using it. The Community Foundation of the Florida Keys grant, the portal for the tab is right there. Probably don't need that one anymore. Bill Vickers ASL class. Yes, I love that one. And by the way, Medina, if you want to kind of practice and have some fun, Bill Vickers, VICARS, Bill Vickers is the best class ever. He has everything from very basic. It's all on YouTube. He also has a website, so you can go through things and learn things that way. But I will often just go to his website on YouTube, and I will watch a 10-minute video.
Yay! Thank you.
A lot of fun. And he has a great sense of humor. And there is no speaking. He's deaf. He's 100% deaf, so there is no speaking.
Great.
It's wonderful. He incorporates visual cues on a screen. He hears his screen, so you can see what's on the screen.
Great.
So that's a fun thing.
I gotta run, Betsy. See you next week.
Okay, Martin. Great to see you.
Right, likewise. Bye-bye.
Is bookmark and favorites the same thing?
What kind of, are you on an Apple or a
It's on a desktop, Microsoft
okay.
Windows.
Favorite.
Book, no, I don't think they are. I would love a lesson on
Are either.
bookmarks and favorites.
All right. We will go deep into bookmarks next week because it's real simple, and I'll be on my computer next week, and so it'll be a lot easier connection and all of that. But that's a great thing, because I have tons of bookmarks. And it's first thing you can think about and play around with I'm on Google Chrome, so I'll try this on other browsers as well. But in Google, at the top of the address bar where whatever I'm on looking at, there's a star. When I click that star, it pops up, you want to bookmark this, where do you want to save it? And so we'll go into that next week in detail. And like I said, I will try the other internets, Edge, Chrome, I know, Firefox. Who uses something other than, what do you guys search the internet with?
Safari.
Safari, yeah.
Okay, I'll
And
do that
Edge.
on Scott's.
Edge.
Edge. Okay. Anything else? Anybody use DuckDuckGo?
No, but they advertise a lot.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, it's not my basic.
Okay, so if it's not your basic one, I won't go there. But the ones that you're using all the time, because that's where you want to access your stuff mostly. I'll go to Safari, Edge, and obviously Chrome. I can show you real easy. So we'll do that next week. Let's
Betsy,
see. Yes.
you just mentioned Chrome. I use Gmail and I'm getting a message. Do you want to switch to Chrome for my Gmail? And I don't know what that means.
You don't have to. If you are, because you're an Apple person, you probably are on the internet primarily on Safari, right?
Yes, yes.
Whenever you go to the internet, you're on Safari.
Yeah.
When you're looking at your Gmail on Safari, if you're doing it through the web versus through an app, no need. You can just do it through Safari. It's the internet is the internet. It's like, when you fill your car up with gas, does it matter if you go to Exxon or Mobil or Marathon or whatever? It's still gas, right? We all have an opinion about our favorite gas station, but it's still gas and it's still going to run your car. Same thing with the internet providers.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Thank you.
And then I'll check on favorites. So when I am on my phone, favorites comes up first, unless I switch to Chrome, and then it's bookmarks. So I'm going to define that for you as well. Linda.
I access using Edge, Microsoft Edge.
Okay, I'll make sure I got that one too.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go through through all those three. All right, and then let's see. The last thing that I was going to talk about was house cleaning, and that was basically it. Was every time you can close something. Now, my husband and I have a big debate, and then this is the last thing, between whether or not you should close everything on your phone that you're not using. I, being very compulsive, do close everything I'm not using. He says I'm wrong, and I had to admit that he is correct. The things that are open but operating in the background on a phone are not significantly taking up space. The open pages. So it's such a minuscule amount that it's not significant. For me, because I like to be organized and clean up things at the end of the day so I can start fresh with a new day, it's more of my mental status than it actually helping the phone in its function. However, what we just learned in terms of making things faster with the modems, that whole thing that we dove into about getting better speed, does have to do with if you've got a lot of things running. And so that's something to consider, on your computer. If you have more than 10 tabs open at a time and you close your device and you still have 10 tabs open when you open it back up the next day and you didn't finish up with those things, it will help you be more organized and feel more confident about your stuff if you've got them in organized systems that make sense to you. We'll talk about my systems with bookmarks. It might not make sense to you, but you'll find within that conversation a system that'll work for you. All right. And we are pretty much out of time because they're starting to roll out the yoga mats over there.
Yeah.
Betsy?
I
Yeah.
was getting ready to text you.
Betsy?
We're done. Yes,
Okay,
Terry.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Terry.
everybody.
And I was going to say that sometimes when I've just shown somebody to empty all the photos out of their text, to either get rid of them or put them in photos. That makes a big difference sometimes.
Does.
People have
Photos
years
take
of
up a lot.
photos in their text.
And we'll talk about that, Terry, again. We'll look at that again when, next week, when we're talking about bookmarking things and just making space. Liam.
Thanks again.
Thank you. So good to see your face.
Well, it's just my face. I've been walking my puppy. And
Okay, that's good. You still
yeah,
got,
we have
you have a new
beautiful day
puppy?
today. Beautiful day. Oh yeah, I have a 2-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
Gotta cut you guys off.
There, thank you.